This is the Happy Families podcast. Thanks so much for joining me today. We banned social media for under 16s in Australia a few months back, December 10 last year, and a whole lot of parents around the nation breathed a sigh of relief because the job was done, right? Well, maybe not. In fact, not even close. On our Doctor's Desk episodes of the Happy Families podcast, we've been unpicking the latest research showing that it's not working quite as well as we'd like. My guest today spoke with hundreds of parents, kids, teachers, psychologists, scientists, and experts. And what she found will change how you think about every screen in your house, particularly the ones that your kids can see, but maybe even yours as well. Madonna King has a new book. It's called Screenwise. Madonna is prolific. She has had a huge impact in the parenting conversation. And this is another part of the conversation that every parent needs to hear. Stay with us. Madonna King on the pod next. This is the Happy Families podcast where you get real parenting solutions every single day. It's Australia's most downloaded parenting podcast. My name's Dr. Justin Coulson. I'm a dad to 6 kids and an author of a bunch of books, although I don't think I've written as many books as Madonna King. Madonna King is an award-winning journalist, commentator, and author whose work gives voice to Australian tweens and teens. Her best-selling parenting books include Being 14, Teenager, Fathers and Daughters, Saving Our Kids, which blew my mind, and Out of the Box, which she co-authored with another friend of ours, Rebecca Sparrow, a little while back. One of the things that I love about Madonna is she doesn't position herself as an expert. Rather, she positions herself, she is a reporter, a journalist, and she sits down and talks with experts and then creates what we need to know from what they've shared with her. Madonna's latest book is called Screenwise, Take Back Control of Screen Time for Toddlers to Teens. It's being billed as the first comprehensive guide to raising kids in the age of AI, social media, and digital life. And I'm so glad that the book's been written now because we've got the social media ban in place. AI is blooming everywhere, and it feels like we're at this really amazing tipping point. Madonna, so glad that you're on the pod today. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Justin.
I know that was a long intro, but you've done so much, and I just want everyone to know how amazing you've been. Let's crack straight into it. You've spent well over a year researching deeply into this book. You actually mostly wrote the book and then scrapped it because of the new legislation. You've rewritten it. If I was to just ask you what scares you the most, I don't want to lean into fear too much, but we really do have some problems with screens. Maybe I can rephrase it rather than what scares you the most. If there was just one thing that you wish parents knew that they don't get when it comes to kids and screens, what would it be?
That we're talking about social media, not screens. And almost every one of those bad things that we've been warned against on social media is available in the computer game you might have given your kid, in AI, which they are using on the bus on the way to school. You know, by the time they are 13, there will be almost 70 million data points on them somewhere in the space. Teens are still on social media, often with the help of their parent, because the parent has said, look, hold on, I'm the parent here, not the government. Or others have thought, well, the government's got this under control. And I feel as though it's almost disempowered parents a little bit. And we need to give parents back the power to make the decision in their home.
I have a question about that. You and I both travel around the country. We give talks on these topics.
Yeah.
Of all of my topics, this is the one that I think is most pressing. I think it's the one that parents need to be the most concerned about, involved in, and educated on. And yet, the apathy around attendance at my teens, tweens, and screens parenting night just blows me away. They're the least well attended. They're the ones that we market the hardest, and yet they're the least well attended. Why do you think that is?
Because I think we only pay attention when our child is in trouble. But often we don't know they are in trouble. They're doing this in a closed bedroom and they're not telling us. You know, sextortion is quite rife, and I use that word conservatively, particularly in boys' schools. But I don't know of a case where the teen boy came out of the bedroom and said, Mum, Dad, I'm in strife. They've gone to a teacher, a coach, a police officer, and it's shame, it's embarrassment. I feel so sorry, and you know boys so much better than me. And thank you for writing the book you did. But I feel as though we don't understand it, so we don't know about it. And one thing I've tried to do in Screenwise is we talk about chatbots and we talk about AI dangers in this and that in headlines, but we're not talking about little things that are big things. For example, the fact that I asked 300 kids their last use of AI, 300 of them. One of them used it to make gravy. The other 299 gave me an example where it meant they did not have to think. To ask a girl to the semi-formal, to ask mum for more pocket money, to do my homework, to cheat on an exam. Their honesty was fantastic. But I find that really dangerous, that our children aren't actually thinking, if you know what I mean. Or, for example, this is going to be my mantra for the next year, but we're not talking about the role of instant gratification on our kids. And mea culpa, I think as parents, we want to book our holiday quickly. We want to pick the checkout with no queue. But what our children are seeing role modeled is don't ever wait. And screens are doing that to the extent that 15 years ago, someone told me that a plot on a child's show might unfold over 10 or 15 minutes. Now that has to unfold within seconds to keep a child's interest. In year 1 and 2, our teachers are seeing meltdowns because children don't get their own way immediately. What is road rage? It is impatience while driving. You know, one school took kids out who suffered anxiety to teach them box breathing. And I'm not an expert here, but, in, out, in. 2 burst out crying because they had thought they'd failed breathing. Now, if that is not an example of how instant gratification has rewired all of us, and it has just stolen joy and time and patience from our children in a way that I find frightening. Will you ever see the word instant gratification in a headline? No, because chatbots are dangerous, are important, and I cover that. But I think we need to talk about some of these subliminal messages that may be more dangerous to your child, and we're not. Does that make sense?
Madonna, there are so many threads that I want to pick up on here. I was making notes furiously as you were talking. The technical term, I'm sure that you're aware of this, is the idea of cognitive offloading. I don't need to think about it because the AI can think about it for me. And one of the challenges that I see, tell me if you agree or disagree with my hypothesis, is that because we're so results oriented, let's talk about school, for example, got to get the job done, got to get the report in, got to write the essay, got to pass the course. So education is less about learning in 2026 and more about results. Therefore, like if I want to go to the gym and I'm going to take a trolley, one of those forklift trolleys, I can stick that under the weights machine and I can get it to lift the weights. The weights get lifted, right? But I'm not going to get stronger. I love that you were having a sip of your coffee just as I said that, and you nearly spat your coffee out.
That is so true. But that is one example of that. What I came across in the same way is particularly girls, but I'm sure with boys too, is if they get 14 out of 20 on a science exam in year 6, they decide then and there that they will not do science in high school because they're not a science girl. I spoke to girls and mums who said that they believed they shouldn't have to learn by rote the times table because they should just know it. And one mother explained to her daughter how she put it on the back of a toilet door when she was young and chanted it. Her daughter thought that was bizarre. And we're saying the same thing. If we didn't understand maths, and I struggled with maths, but I would practice it every day and improved.
Yeah, we're talking about basic resilience here, right? And seeing a purpose in it.
Rich. Yeah. And that is instant gratification. The need for immediate results is something that I think is while it may not have the same immediate consequences of a sextortion attempt, it is much wider. I reckon probably 90% of every cohort is caught up in it. And it's determining what they end up doing as a career. It's their level of anxiety, whether they're sick on a Sunday night before they go to school, all those things that just take the joy. One pediatrician I talked to who I adore, he runs the Boston Wellness Clinic. And this kid came into him and had heard Joni Mitchell's song about, castles in the air and didn't understand what that meant. And he said, you know how you make formations out of clouds? The 15-year-old said, no, what do you mean? And he said, we've been so busy modeling being busy that just that little idea of lying on your back on a trampoline on the grass and making, a pelican out of a cloud or your teacher's face out of the cloud no longer exists. We get into a lift and we look at our mobile phone. So our children don't learn the importance of patience, of being bored, which can actually lead to creativity, if you like. And I think we're saying the same thing, but don't you think that's a really dangerous societal trend that we've got to stop today?
I love the reframe. When I give my presentations, I do tend to focus on those bigger things, and this reframe's got me sitting here really thinking deeply about the importance of shifting back to the basics. It's profound. After the break, Madonna, I want to talk about how you wind it back. I mean, there are so many parents who are just going, I've squeezed the toothpaste out of the tube. I can't get it back in. What do I do? You're right.
We can get it back in.
You're right about that in the book. I want to unpack that just a little bit. And I've also got a couple of other questions for you. It's coming up next. Stay with us. We're back. It's the Happy Families podcast where you get real parenting solutions every single day. Madonna King is my guest today. We're talking about, well, you know what we're talking about because you've been listening to the podcast so far already. We're talking about her brand new book, which is called Screenwise, Take Back Control of Screen Time for Toddlers to Teens. Madonna, here's my question for you. Setting limits from day one is one thing, and that's the easiest way to do it. But most people who are listening to this podcast are well past that. The gate's been open. The horse has shot through it. The 13-year-old's had a phone for 2 years. The 14-year-old's been on social media well before the ban came in and is not giving it up. You're right about resetting boundaries, and you're quite emphatic that you can. What does that look like without declaring war on your child?
Yeah, I think you can. We should never give up hope. So I think you look at what is the issue in your house. Let's say it's instant gratification. And then you think of strategies. And in the book, I give tips at the end of each chapter. But with instant gratification, it is not actually binging on the Ted Lasso series over 2 nights. Say, all right, every Thursday after school, we're going to do it. It's teaching your child to save rather than spend. The shoes for the formal, we've seen the ones we want, but let's wait till Saturday week and go and get them. Let's pick the line at the checkout where there are 3 in front of us and actually talk while we do it. So it's actually finding those little things in life that just reset your child's brain, whether they're 17 or 7, so that waiting is not a bad thing. It may be playing a board game or watching a cake bake, for example. It's little things that where the key is waiting. And every psychologist, every scientist I talk to say those things can make measurable differences to how our child then sees patience, which then leads to persistence, grit.
And confidence. A quick personal story. Maybe a month and a half ago on the pod, we started talking about the importance of grandma hobbies. And my youngest daughter, Emily, who is 12, we've essentially cut her off from screens almost completely now. There was just too much bending of the rules. There was too much sneaky behavior. We just got jack of it and we said, we're just going to stop screens. And she was pretty upset we were the worst parents in the world for a couple of weeks. And then one day she was just like, okay, I get it. Madonna, we started doing some sewing. Well, when I say we, Kylie did.
He did.
Yeah, I'm taking credit for it. But Kylie started doing some sewing and we've just seen a different child as we've walked back the screen usage. Grandma hobbies seem to have turned her into just the most delightful child after we started to deal with some substantial challenges. My guess is that's kind of the direction you're heading.
Absolutely. And going on that, one of the things I've suggested, and don't yell at me here, I know that you never would, but bringing back the family dinner. Now, I know not everyone can do that, and the family dinner in every house is different and often with 2 parents working. But that idea of saying to your kids, look, I don't get to talk to you enough, mea culpa, one night or one day a week at first, let's do something. And let's say it's dinner. Someone does the theme. Someone picks the recipe. Someone does the cooking. It doesn't matter if it's Japanese on the back veranda, a sausage and mashed potato that the 10-year-old cooks, the music, but you put your phone where they are and no one makes an appointment for that time.
Yeah.
I think, those little things of just stealing back what screens have taken from us. And, our kids, they are so clever. I interviewed 300 of them. One said to me, why would I do this when mum is downstairs on the lounge on Facebook? She doesn't even hear me speak.
Our modelling, it's the last thing I always finish with in my presentation because they're seeing us do it, so why would they be any different?
Yep, monkey see, monkey do. Boom. And, there's one piece of research I use in the book where in 2,000 playground accidents, in 1/3 of them, the parent was on a mobile phone. End of story. It says it all, really, doesn't it? But, our kids are so clever. They're gorgeous. And one 15-year-old boy said to me, we brought in this social media ban on the eve of Christmas as school was breaking up, but no one talked to us about other things we can do. And I thought that was a very interesting public policy comment, wasn't it? That, they want our help and they're not sure how to do it. And that's why I would say, to parents, we've got to learn what we don't know. If there's one thing I want people to remember is right now, if your child is about 13, there are about 70 million things about them online. Their likes and dislikes.
That's astonishing. They're only 13. It's not like they've spent their life, well, they kind of have spent their life online, but do you know what I mean? It's not like they're adults with 70 million data points.
Algorithms are such that it is known whether they watched a movie to the credits or they watched it to the 14th minute. And their friend may have been different, which is why they're sent different influences on their social media accounts. They know what school bus they catch, where it stops, their name of their dog. Parents really want their children to grow up kind and curious and clever, and yet we're risking that by allowing strangers and baddies, and I think schools too, as schools continue to put pictures of children in uniform on public sites, they are risking their welfare. And I think let's not wait until this is part of our narrative to fix it. It's not a government's job. It is not a school's job. It's a parent's job, and we shouldn't let anyone take it off us.
Madonna, I love your work. I'm so grateful for what you do and the commitment that you have to it. You do such important work. You're very kind and generous. Thank you. The book is called Screenwise. It's available now. Jump online or go to a bookstore. Get face-to-face with somebody. Smile at them when you purchase the book. And both Madonna and I, honestly, beg you, not because this is going to put an extra $3 into Madonna's bank account because you bought a book, because you don't make a lot of money from books. We write these books because we care about you and we care about your kids. And the apathy around kids and screens, or the hands up in the air and it's too hard around kids and screens, it just has to change. And it changes when you grab a book like this and inform yourself, educate yourself, and start to talk to the kids about it. Madonna, I so appreciate your work. Thank you for joining me for this conversation today. It's really such an important one.
Thanks for having me.
The book will be linked in the show notes, Screenwise. You can Google it. You can click on the show notes. It will make a difference in your life. I have absolutely no doubt about it at all. The Happy Families podcast, sound and audio engineering by Justin Rulon from Bridge Media. Mim Hammonds looks after our admin and additional support. If you'd like more info to make your family happier, check out Madonna's work and also have a look at happyfamilies.com.au.